Hey there, I'm Mike Stepney, Head of SEO at the consulting agency Blue Array. I'm going to walk you through this module all about on-page SEO, or optimizing a website for search engines and users. This is the part of SEO we generally have the most control over, from including keywords in our body content to updating internal linking. Everything on a website that we can add, change, or remove falls under the umbrella of on-page SEO. You also have off-page SEO, which includes any external factors that you can't directly control, like external backlinks from other websites that point to your website. But even when we focus on what you can control, the way search engines operate is pretty elaborate, with complex algorithms to rank content. So in this course, we'll break it down into a few simple concepts. Getting these basics right will set you and your client's website up for success. We'll cover the core elements of on-page SEO, how we can audit them, and how we can dig a little deeper into each to better understand the impact they have on our site's organic traffic. By the end of this module, you'll understand the fundamental concepts behind auditing your client's on-page SEO to understand core opportunities for your client's site, optimizing your pages for both search engines and users, effectively designing your client's content to make it accessible, defining and targeting various content types to meet user intent, incorporating an internal linking structure that facilitates crawling and indexing, and how to demonstrate EEAT to users and search engines. Later on in this course, you'll also get more detail on how to use specific tools and achieve more advanced goals. But first, we'll start by defining the areas we can already improve on our site with some on-page auditing skills. Throughout this module, I'll use a demo website to illustrate the lessons. Primarily, I just want you to understand the scope of on-page SEO and get familiar with some of the concepts, but feel free to follow along on your own site. Let's talk about another way you can audit your client's on-page SEO, keyword usage. A keyword is a string of words or phrases that a person may type into a search bar. They're grouped by tools like SEMrush and Ahrefs to give us an idea of monthly search volume and other metrics. In other words, the higher a keyword's monthly search volume, the more people searched for that keyword. To understand where we're being seen in search results, we should identify keywords that we're ranking well for, we're not appearing for, or are irrelevant to our site. This gives us a good foundation for optimization. Relevance is one of the core factors Google considers during content ranking. And one of the primary ways we demonstrate relevance is through the keywords we use in our written content. Google transforms aggregated and anonymized data into signals that help the ranking systems better estimate relevance. In another module, you'll learn how to find the most relevant keywords for your client's site, step by step, using tools like SEMrush and Ahrefs alongside Google Search Console. But right now, we're going to focus on these same tools to understand the keywords our clients' pages already rank for and find instances where organic search competitors are ranking for a keyword that we should be targeting. First, you need to assess the current volume of keywords your client's site is ranking for before digging into the data to understand if those keywords are relevant. To do this, we can input the domain name into the domain overview section of SEMrush. This will show us a lot of different metrics, from the total number of keywords that the site is ranking for to its backlink metrics. It'll automatically show global data, but you can click on a country to get even more granular data. Under organic research, we can break down keywords by improved position, new ranking, worsened position, and lost ranking. This shows us some opportunities we have for keyword optimization. It's normal for a website to surface in some irrelevant search results because of any word we've used in its content. But if there are any that are wildly irrelevant or even inappropriate, this should be addressed. When auditing keywords, it's worth having an idea of your client's priorities so that you can align your investigations with the things that are most important to them. For example, if your client sells cars, it's not worth highlighting during a competitor analysis that another competitor is ranking well for moped-related searches. And just like I suggested for analytics, remember to keep track of your insights in a sheet or slide deck to refer to later. Once you've recorded all your insights, you can do an array of things, from identifying landing pages to optimize to creating a content strategy. For example, if a website already has focused landing pages that rank for the right keywords, but they only rank on page 2 of Google, you may decide that optimizing existing pages is the best course of action. On another website, you might decide that there isn't enough existing content addressing the site's priorities, so a content strategy should be top priority. As you come across opportunities, be sure to make a note of them for later so you can prioritize correctly. Bear in mind, sites that include excessive keyword usage in content often don't rank as well as content with strategically placed keywords. Make sure your keyword usage makes the content read and flow naturally. You should focus on making it readable and add keywords and related terms where it makes sense. Google always says that providing value to users is a better indicator of quality than the number of keywords we use, and your client sites will be judged accordingly. So now we've gone over how to audit your client sites. Up next, we'll tackle search results. I'll meet you in the next lesson to get started. In the same way that we need to assess our traffic now to understand where we want to be in the future, we can use search engines, results pages, or SERPs, to get a view of how our clients are appearing to users now and where we can help them improve. The main thing you want to check for in SERPs are titles, descriptions, and where your competitors rank. So in this lesson, let's talk about auditing your client sites from the customer's perspective on SERPs. Let's take this site, for example. We can check how it appears in the SERP using the site:/search parameter. The site:/search parameter is a method of seeing all of the pages from our client site that are in Google's index. We use it to identify pages that are indexed, understand what our pages' titles and descriptions look like in SERPs, or where Google has rewritten page titles to identify potential optimization opportunities. When we use it to search for our client site, we're looking for a clear understanding of what pages are available in Google's index and to see if they appear how we want them to. If, however, we see that our title is being rewritten and isn't quite matching the intent of the page, that can mean that Google thinks our title is missing the mark, and we've got an opportunity for improvement. In this case, we would conduct additional keyword research around the page and its topic. If there's a keyword this page is meant to be targeting that we're not ranking for, we could consider adding it to the page's meta title. Other tools like SEMrush and Ahrefs have the functionality to surface where our site is ranking in particular search features, like featured snippets and people also ask boxes. We can do this by going back to the organic research section of SEMrush and filtering data by SERP features. Rich results are these enhanced bits in Google search with extra visual or interactive features. For example, when we search for a chocolate cake recipe on Google, we see recipe cards appearing at the top of the results page, taking up a large chunk of space above the rest of the organic results. These cards are rich results. Other types of rich results include review snippets, products, and books. You can find more examples of rich results on Google Search Central. You also have the option to check potential rich results in search results for a given keyword, which helps you understand where competitors are potentially holding more space in results than your client. From there, we can plan to add new content to a competing page and mark it up with structured data or code that provides more context of a page to search engines, giving us the opportunity to earn those rich results. We'll talk more about how to implement structured data throughout this course. So far, we've covered how to audit a site's on-page SEO with keywords and search results. But before we move on from auditing, there's one more thing we need to factor in. In the next lesson, we'll cover how to audit a site's technical SEO. See you there. Now that you understand how to approach your on-site SEO audit, there are a few more technical things to specifically look out for. Once a site's been crawled, we can start to export data into a sheet to analyze it further. For example, if you export the internal tab on Screaming Frog, you'll see a general overview of every page on your client's site that the crawler found, including each URL status code, whether it's indexable, and even the number of internal links pointing towards the page. Now we can start to analyze this data to find opportunities for improvement. Some common opportunities that often crop up include missing alt text. Alt text is key for ranking in Google image search, but it's also the text that's read out by a screen reader to users with visual impairments. You can find missing alt text in Screaming Frog by clicking the Image tab, then filtering for missing alt text. You can even do a bulk export to tackle each image one by one. You'll want to add alt text that's short, descriptive, and not stuffed with keywords. Another opportunity you might find is a redirect chain. This is a redirect of a redirect. Like if URL A was redirected to URL B, and then down the line URL B was redirected to URL C, so attempting to access URL A takes us through two redirects. To fix this, both URL A and URL B should be redirected straight to URL C, instead of having the step between. On Wix Studio, you can achieve this through the 301 Redirect Manager. Check out the article linked in the description. To identify redirect chains, use the Crawl Analysis function on Screaming Frog and click on the Issues and Opportunities tab. Another opportunity is a page not included in sitemaps. When we add URLs to our XML sitemap, this is us essentially giving crawlers a list of URLs that we would like indexed. If you find that an indexable URL with a 200 status code isn't in the sitemap, you should add it. Bear in mind, Wix Studio optimizes and updates your sitemaps for you, so you wouldn't have to add anything yourself. Add your client's XML sitemap into the crawl configuration when setting up a crawl, then use the Crawl Analysis function once the crawl is complete. Lastly, another opportunity you might find are pages incorrectly marked no index. As an SEO, you'll use no index to show search engines which pages they can crawl, but that you don't want to show in search results. Sometimes this can be added to the wrong pages, like after a migration, if you make a page live but forget to remove the no index. We can spot this in a few ways, including filtering the internal tab by non-indexable URLs and within the Crawl Analysis tab. Those are the most common issues you'll want to look for in your technical audit. Pairing this with the latest Solis's guidelines in her module on technical SEO should set you up for success. Next up, we're moving on from audits and taking a closer look at the foundations of creating good content structure. I'll meet you there. Before you jump into designing individual pieces of content, you should consider the high-level structure of your site content. It's a good idea to use a content hub structure to create one central place where viewers can find all of your posts about a particular topic. This will help improve topical authority, something Google recently acknowledged in 2023, and which can have a halo effect on the rest of your content, so that if one page performs well, other pages perform well too. Let's get started. A content hub is a collection of related content. In the keyword research module, we'll refer to this as a topic cluster. These clusters should answer all of your questions and cover all of the information a viewer might be looking for related to a specific topic. Often, content hubs have a central location or a pillar page, providing a high-level overview and linking to multiple pages addressing related subtopics in detail. Content hubs help us explore a complex topic in depth, organize content in a reader and SEO-friendly way, and compete for more difficult keywords. But creating content hubs can have some great benefits beyond site structure, like improved user experience. By organizing related content in one place, viewers can quickly navigate between different resources without having to search for them individually. And increased website traffic. Providing a comprehensive resource on a topic can increase a site's visibility in search results and encourage people to share its content. They can also help improve SEO. Linking to related pages and resources within the hub creates a network of content that search engines will view as comprehensive, and they can help establish authority. If we add high-quality, well-researched content to the hub, you can demonstrate your client's expertise and knowledge in their industry, which can help build trust and credibility with their audience. For a more in-depth look at creating a hub structure with pillar pages and topic clusters, check out the articles linked in this video's description. For more information on keyword research, make sure you're up to speed with Andrew Optimizey's module on keyword research and content strategy. So, once you have your structure, it's time to make a plan to create content to fill it. That's what we'll cover in our next lesson. Meet you there. The content on our pages is the first thing people in search engines will use to understand if the information on our site is relevant to their search query. When we talk about content, we can group it loosely into two categories: transactional or commercial content, which targets consumers closer to the bottom of the funnel in their buying journey, and informational content, which targets people at the top of the funnel. There are more detailed breakdowns of content types, but using these main categories helps us capture the most common search intents and gives us the best chance of providing viewers with answers to their queries. In this lesson, we'll compare the two types and provide some strategies for optimizing each. Commercial content is created with the primary purpose of promoting a product, service, or brand. The best example of this is within product descriptions on an e-commerce site. But commercial content comes in all shapes and sizes. There are a few ways to optimize content that sells a product or service. First, you should write your transactional content in a direct tone. You can do that by providing signposts to key features and highlighting useful information to guide users to the right decision. Transactional content is often thinner, less fluffy, and to the point, which matches commercial and navigational search intent nicely. People who search for this kind of content are often further down the funnel and closer to the buying stage, which means our transactional content should be created in a way that encourages them to convert. For example, a transactional page might have more CTAs than an informational page. The goal is to lead viewers towards buttons that will entice them to make a purchasing decision about a service or a product. Informational content is where content strategies tend to shine, but also where some can fall short. Informational topics often fall into the periphery of a site's core topics. Creating high-quality content that covers these topics improves what's known as topical authority. Essentially, the more we demonstrate what we know about a topic, the more likely our site as a whole will rank better for these kinds of queries in SERPs. This is something that informational content does much better than transactional content. We want to reach people in the top of the funnel with informational content and the bottom of the funnel with transactional content to encourage them to convert. Using a combination of keyword research, customer personas, and any other tools your business has about customer questions can help you create content that's not just going to perform well in organic search, but that's also helpful to your audience. Remember, Google has a renewed focus on content that's helpful above all else. This should be a priority when you're implementing a content strategy. This content should live within a blog or resource hub, ideally split from time-bound news items, to make sure it continues to perform its best over time. This way, it'll capture informational search intent nicely, which focuses on our viewers at most stages of the buying journey. This structure strengthens the relationship between our top-performing periphery content and our transactional pages, encouraging a halo effect and potentially improving ranking positions as a whole. High-level informational content targets the top of the funnel, while more granular content using long-tail keywords captures people closer to the bottom of the sales funnel. When we create any kind of content, we should be mindful of pages that already exist on the site that might target the same keywords. When this happens, it means multiple pages are trying to rank for the same query, and those pages can cannibalize each other. According to many SEOs in the industry, this can lead to a possible drop in rank. Instead, we should look to have each page focus on a unique head keyword. Some level of keyword cannibalization is natural. If we have a content hub where pages focus on the same product from different angles, it's normal for a few pages to rank for the same keyword on occasion. The thing we want to avoid is targeting the same head keyword with two pages, because it might, according to some, worsen our overall ranking position. If we had a blog post about tennis equipment that ranked higher than a tennis racket-related product page for a transactional query, we might want to review the content on the blog. This would involve identifying the keywords it ranks for versus the keywords in the content to understand why it's ranking for transactional searches. If needed, we could rewrite the content on the blog and ensure we're linking to the product page using descriptive, sales-based anchor text, like buy this product in our shop. Of course, ideally we'd avoid duplicate content in the first place to avoid this issue. When coming up with new content ideas, it's worth using the site:/search parameter in Google alongside the page's head keyword to see if we already have pages that rank for it. If we don't, then we've got a new opportunity. In our next lesson, we'll keep talking content and take a look at how your content design can impact your SEO. See you there. We wouldn't expect a site visitor to jump around a page just to understand what we're trying to tell them. So our heading structure should be logical, going from H1 to H2 to H3 to H4 and so on, not jumping between them as we move down the page. Having a poorly optimized page structure can lead to an increased bounce rate, lower average time on page, and fewer returning visitors. On top of your heading structure, you also need to consider how people will read your content. Content design is a UX term that refers to the visual aspects of written content. It has less to do with the words themselves and more to do with how information within content is laid out for viewers and search engines. It also aligns with accessibility best practices relating to proper page structure, anchor text, and alt text for images. In this lesson, you'll learn how to apply content design principles to improve the value of your content overall. An H1 is typically a page's main on-page title, and is different from a page's meta title, which is only seen in SERPs. It's marked up within the HTML of a page to signify that this is the title, and should usually be stylized differently to the body content of a page. To search engines and viewers, H1s demonstrate the primary purpose of a page. Generally, a page should only have one H1, which should act as the headline. While there are no specific consequences of having more than one H1, it could be perceived as spammy and create a negative user experience. Here we can use our page's head keyword, the primary thing we want to rank for. We can also use our head keyword in our page's meta title, as long as we stick within the character limit of 50 to 60 characters to avoid our title being truncated with ellipses in the search results. We can also use synonyms here to make sure we're capturing users who might have searched for something related to our page's head keyword, but not an exact match. Content that appears above the fold can be really valuable for our SEO. As the first segment of copy that people and search engines see on the page, it should act as an information-rich summary of what's on the page that encourages them to keep scrolling. Our page's head keyword should ideally be in this bit of content too. We can include other secondary keywords here too if they fit, but we want to be certain our content flows well, and keyword stuffing can make the content feel unnatural. Try to avoid any internal links in the copy too. Encouraging users to click on links to another page as soon as they arrive could lead to worse average time on page. Content that exists below the fold should include more details and context for the summary we provided above the fold, and the rest of the sections of our content should be easily identifiable using subheadings. This is crucial, as it not only helps users and search engines understand the page easily, but properly optimized subheadings can also lead to our content being displayed as featured snippets for some searches on Google. Typically, we would use H2 heading tags as subheadings to the H1. Then H3 headings would be used as the subheadings of H2, and so on. Unless the content is incredibly in-depth, it's unlikely we'll need to use H6s. but they're available within most CMSs if needed. To optimize our subheadings, we should use keywords where possible, but not always. Our headings should be readable, not keyword stuffed. Under each subheading, the first few sentences should summarize the subsection. If this is done in roughly 60 words, it'll improve our chances of being surfaced in a featured snippet even more. When content is laid out in a wall of text with no subheadings or images to break it up, it makes it difficult to grab and hold anyone's attention. Content like this is likely to have a high bounce rate since it doesn't serve a user's purpose quickly enough. The same way that the average user will bounce if a page takes longer than 3 seconds to load, people won't want to sift through lots of content to find an answer to their query. Good content design can help with this by breaking up blocks of text with subheadings, using a logical subheading structure, monitoring sentence length for readability, and writing for an average reading age of 9 to 12 years old. While the concept of content design is primarily about user experience, search engines are trending towards favoring content that's helpful to users, so it's just as much an SEO practice these days. That means we need to follow suit and always make sure our content serves the user. To appropriately design content for our users, we need to understand how they're consuming written content. There are tools out there that can help us do this, like Hotjar, Microsoft Clarity, and some GA4 features like the User Flow Report. But even having a general understanding of user behavior at scale can allow us to make small improvements to our content design. Typically, users consume content in an F pattern, where they digest the headline and first few sentences fully, but they skim the subheadings and the start of each line throughout. Other reading patterns exist, including layered cake, where the content is formatted nicely and encourages scrolling, spotted, where users are looking for a specific keyword within the content, and total engagement, where users read every single word of a page. But often people will read content in a combination of F and spotted patterns, skimming the content to find the section that serves their intent the best. Keyword usage in subheadings is also a ranking factor, so optimizing our heading structure to include focused keywords for a given page can help us improve our ranking position too. So that's a quick overview of how you can optimize the design structure of your pages. In the next lesson, we'll look at a different structure at play in your client's on-page content, their internal links. I'll meet you there. One way we can look at our site structure is through our internal linking strategy. Internal linking, or linking from one page to another page on the same website, helps search engines understand and crawl our website better. By linking from one page to another throughout the site, we allow crawlers to move through each page seamlessly. This way, they can see the entirety of our site and map its structure. It also helps them understand that pages on our site with the highest number of internal links are likely to be the most important pages to crawl, index, and rank. This is because more links signal that a page is a priority for us and should be seen in SERPs more often. For example, it's common to link product pages or categories in the header navigation, since they're where we'd like to drive users and search engines. As we create new content or new pages on our website, we should be mindful of the existing content on our site that we can link to from the new page. For example, if we mention a core service in a new blog post, we should link to the service to push users and crawlers towards pages that convert. But we only want to do this when it makes sense. We don't want to force anything and come across as spammy. It's best to link to other content on the site that's directly related to the content we're linking from. This helps users and search engines understand the context of our content and its relevance to other content across the site. To get a better understanding of the content we may want to link to, we can use the site:/search parameter along with a keyword on Google to find related content on our site. Or if the website has a search function built in, we can use that. Now let's go through 3 key facets of internal linking: anchor text, parent and child pages, and breadcrumbs. Anchor text is the visible, clickable text of a link on a page. It's usually differentiated from the rest of the copy on a page by being a different color and often underlined to signal that it's a clickable element. The text used as an anchor in both internal and external links is crucial for providing context about the nature of our link and the page we're linking to. Things like click here or discover more are considered poorly optimized anchor texts, since they don't provide any indication to users or search engines about the topic or content of the link page. Using keywords in anchor text can be beneficial for ranking, and for other things like determining the title tag that Google chooses to display in search results. Because of this, our anchor text should ideally reflect the content of the link page, ideally using the head keyword of the page we're linking to. For internal linking, we should try to use exactly matched or partially matched anchor text, with exact match using the same keyword as the target page, and partial match using a variation of the keyword of the target page. Just make sure the anchor text isn't spammy. It should be fairly concise and not stuffed with keywords. As part of our internal linking strategy, we have what's called a parent page and a child page. These often exist within subfolder structures. A parent page would likely target a broader keyword, which often has a higher monthly search volume and by extension will be more competitive. An example would be SEO course. Child pages then support parent pages. These may target secondary keywords, which could be longer tail. These are often more specific, lower volume, and less competitive. In this case, an example might be SEO courses for photographers. Parent pages should generally have more internal links from other pages across the rest of the site than a child page. This helps indicate the hierarchy of our content, where a parent page is signaled as more important on our site, with child pages supporting it. Between the two, internal linking should reflect the full hierarchy of the content, with each child page linking to all parent pages above it in the hierarchy, as well as sibling pages. A parent page should link through to all of its child pages, as well as any parent pages above it. Not only will this help users navigate our content on any given product or topic, but it also helps to signal to search engines which topics are closely related, and which page should be surfaced for a particular query. Breadcrumbs are a small text path that indicates where on our site a user currently is. They're navigational elements used to create a better user experience, improve crawlability, and reinforce site hierarchy. They create a logical trail of where the page sits on our website and how a user can navigate back through their path if they wish. This can boost the page's visibility, since search engines can better understand the page and how it relates to the rest of the site. They can also help with bounce rate, since they make it easier for users to navigate through the site if the page they're on doesn't exactly match their search query. There are 3 core types of breadcrumbs that we can use on our site: hierarchy-based, history-based, and attribute-based. Hierarchy-based breadcrumbs show a single path that reflects the site structure to every user, no matter how they arrived on the page. While every type of breadcrumb implementation will have its benefits, hierarchical breadcrumbs are often the most recommended due to the benefit of them reinforcing a site structure. They're also the default breadcrumb type you can add on Wix Studio. History-based breadcrumbs follow the path a user has followed from the home page. This is often the best for user experience, so they can navigate back along their exact path to find the previous pages they've seen. Attribute-based breadcrumbs are often used within an e-commerce setting, where a product page may exist in multiple different categories. For example, a pair of women's tennis shoes could exist in our shoe page, in the women's section, or in the pages for a specific brand's apparel. So these breadcrumbs would reflect one core feature depending on the product itself. With Wix stores, you can create this kind of structure by setting up your categories appropriately. Additionally, search engines can display breadcrumbs within search results, which can give users an idea of your site structure and content before clicking through to the site, and can help improve click-through rate of a page. Alright, up next we're going to shift gears a bit and talk about how we can make our pages indexable using technical SEO. I'll meet you in the next lesson to get into it. Structured data or schema is code that you can use to provide search engines with even more context about a page than its on-page content already offers. It can be implemented in a few different ways, though Google says that JSON-LD is the preferred format, and an entire library of Schema can be found on schema.org. We'll get into all of this in greater detail with Aleda and Celeste in tech and local SEO. But for now, just remember that Schema can benefit your client's site by creating opportunities to earn rich results in SERPs, and give search engines as much information about them as possible. Structured data can be top-level or incredibly granular. General organization schema can be used to tie in a business with its website, but can also be broken down so far that if the business is a sports team, you can add sports team schema to the page. Other top-level examples include person schema, which in our example could be used on a player page to relate the player's profile to other third-party sources across the web, like their LinkedIn profile, to demonstrate their expertise and improve EEAT across our client sites. Article schema is essentially a catch-all piece of schema that covers all types of articles on a publisher's website. Aggregate rating is used to mark up third-party reviews of a product or service, often through a site like Trustpilot or IMDb. Other granular examples include product, which provides search engines with detailed information about products, like their name, description, price, and availability, and gives us the opportunity to have our products displayed in shopping carousels in search results. You've also got video, which displays information about videos on a client's site, including its title, description, thumbnail, and length. There are two key benefits to correctly using structured data. First, it gives us the chance to earn rich results in SERPs. For example, marking up a chocolate cake recipe with recipe schema gives us a better chance of appearing in recipe cards at the top of SERPs for the search chocolate cake recipe. And secondly, it can be used to prove legitimacy of a website or a content creator. Using the same as property within the schema allows us to connect something or someone to another page referencing the same thing. In the case of a person page, we can add a link to that person's social profiles and even their Wikipedia page if they have one, to show that yes, this is the same person. Typically, Schema would be implemented by a developer working on a client's sites, but there are ways we can implement it ourselves. On Wix Studio, you can add structured data under a page's advanced SEO settings. Regardless of how it's implemented, I recommend testing using the Schema Markup Validator or a browser plugin like Write Structured Data Helper to double-check that it's set up correctly. On Wix Studio, you could always use the Test on Google option. Overall, just remember that using Schema can benefit your client sites by giving them the opportunity to earn rich results in SERPs and giving search engines as much information about them as possible. Before I leave you to it, let's quickly recap what we've learned in our lessons together. We've covered all of the basics on on-page SEO and the impact they have on our client sites. We looked at how to audit your on-page SEO and recognize core opportunities for improvement, how to optimize pages for both search engines and viewers, how to target user intent with different types of content, how to effectively design content to make it accessible, crawlable, and indexable, and how to present the content with design and internal linking structures. Now you're ready to put all of these tools to work on your client sites. And once you watch all of the other modules in this course, you'll be set up as an authority on SEO for all of your clients. Thanks for watching.